Welcome to Open History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more video like this one.
In Papua, Indonesia, tribal chief Eli Mabel holds the mummified body of his ancestor, Agat Mamete Mabel, a leader from 250 years ago. Among the Dani people, such preservation is a sacred honor reserved for great elders and heroes. December 4th, 1961, Rocky Dennis was born with an extremely rare bone disorder, but he refused to let it define him. He lived with courage and humor, inspiring everyone around him. Though he passed at 16, his story continues to inspire the world. Chicago, 1948. In a tense divorce court, a man falls to his knees, begging his wife for forgiveness. His desperate plea freezes the room, capturing the heartbreak and raw emotion of a marriage at its breaking point. Cairo, 1865. A street vendor casually sells real mummies to curious passers-by. In 19th century Egypt, ancient remains were not just relics, but commodities for collectors and tourists. 1965, 6 Tongan teenagers seeking freedom stole a fishing boat and were shipwrecked on Ada Island. For 15 months, they built shelter, kept a fire alive, and survived until Australian adventurer Peter Warner spotted them and rescued them. 1930s, a Dutch aircraft listener, a young man in his 20s or 30s, wears a specialized listening device designed to detect distant aircraft. With parabolic ear dishes and a focused expression, he embodies the early days of aerial surveillance. June 1962, Frank Morris and John and Clarence Anglin escaped Alcatraz using lifelike dummy heads made from soap, toothpaste, and hair. Guards were fooled, giving them crucial hours. One head remains on Alcatraz, a symbol of their daring quest for freedom. December 1943, Lieutenant Leon Crane jumped from a crashing B-24 over Alaska with only a parachute and matches. Alone in the frozen wilderness for 84 days, he battled snow, hunger, and frostbite before finally finding rescue, a World War II survival legend. 1960, Republic Aviation unveils a pressure suit designed for extended lunar operations. This prototype symbolizes humanity's early dreams of walking on the moon, blending engineering ingenuity with the ambition to conquer the final frontier. Tuya, mother of Queen T and grandmother to Akhenaten and Tutankhamun, was a powerful figure in 18th dynasty Egypt. Priestess, court official, and influential matriarch, she shaped both religious and political life before her death around 1375 BC. In 1926 New York City, children dared the towering steep metal slides and rickety swings of the playground. With no safety measures, every climb and descent was a risky thrill, capturing the fearless spirit of youth in the city. In the remote Chachapoyas Mountains, a young girl's mummy, dated 600 to 900 AD, was found with hands raised in terror. Preserved in her final act of fear, she bears silent witness to a ritual fate and the oldest human dread. In 1890, a young British girl proudly wore one of the first functional prosthetic legs crafted by James Gillingham. These wooden, metal, and leather limbs marked a revolutionary step in mobility, independence, and hope for people with disabilities. On August 1st, 1943, the greatest generation took to the skies. 177 B-24 bombers flew low and unescorted to strike Nazi oil fields at Ploesti. Despite losing 54 planes and severe damage to many, their courage earned 5 medals of honor. In 1910, Danish explorer Einar Mikkelsen and engineer Ivar Iverson endured nearly 2 years trapped in Greenland's Arctic ice. They survived on meager rations, built a cabin, and hauled sleds for hundreds of miles, returning with lost expedition maps and an epic tale of endurance. In 1925, Hugo Gernsback invented the isolator, a wooden helmet designed to block out all distractions. With a narrow slit for reading and an oxygen system to prevent suffocation, it promised total concentration, though at the cost of comfort and sanity. In December 2003, Joyce Vincent died alone in her North London flat. Her TV stayed on, bills were paid automatically, and nobody noticed. Over 2 years later, in January 2006, bailiffs finally discovered her body, a haunting story of urban isolation. This striking portrait, titled The Last Woman of Tartaria, captures a sense of solitude and history. The high-contrast sepia-toned image evokes an era long past, preserving the presence of a woman who embodies a fading world and untold stories of her people. Jefferson and Mary Soder shared over 60 years of life and love in Texas. When Mary passed in July 21, Jefferson followed just 2 days later. They were laid to rest together in the same casket, a testament to a bond that even death could not break. In 1951, Marilyn Monroe relaxes in her bedroom, reading a book and enjoying a quiet moment. Surrounded by books, framed pictures, and soft light, the future icon reveals a private side seldom seen, away from cameras and Hollywood's glare. Around 1903, a 24-year-old Albert Einstein in Zurich exudes quiet intellect. Years before his groundbreaking theories, this young physicist's thoughtful gaze hints at the brilliance that would soon reshape our understanding of the universe. Born in 1746, Hannah Stille witnessed nearly a century of history, living before Napoleon and Mozart. Captured in 1840 at 94, her photograph offers a rare glimpse into a bygone era and the life of one of the earliest born people ever photographed. John Torno, born 1880, became the infamous Wild Man of the Wynoochee. A master of the forest and skilled marksman, his legend grew after a deadly feud with his nephews and a year-long evasion of authorities, ending in a violent April 1912 shootout. In the summer of 1942, General Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, is seen here with his troops at an African command post. Renowned for his daring tactics, Rommel led the German Afrika Korps through the harsh desert campaigns of World War II. In 1925, Peruvian photographer Martin Chambi captured himself alongside the so-called Giant of Paruro in Cusco. Chambi's work immortalized the people and landscapes of Peru, blending artistry with ethnographic curiosity. In 1962, a young Caroline Kennedy playfully wears a large JFK mask while sitting beside her father. The candid moment captures the warmth of family life behind the public image of the future president. Anton, a Jewish baker, survived the Holocaust by sharing warmth with an elderly prisoner on a freezing train to Auschwitz. Alone they lived, showing that compassion can become the most powerful tool for survival. At the 1980 Moscow Olympics, Polish wrestlers Adam Sandurski and Jan Falendis stood side by side, a striking contrast in size, skill, and determination, reminding us that in sports, heart and courage often outweigh mere physical stature. Juliana Valentine McCourt was just 4 when she boarded Flight 17 on September 11, 2001, heading to Disneyland. Her life, like thousands of others lost that day, is remembered with a white rose at the 9/11 Memorial, a symbol of innocence and enduring memory. In 1907, Howard Carter began excavating in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. His meticulous work led to the 1922 discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. The young pharaoh, who relied on a cane due to a clubfoot, died around age 18, leaving mysteries that still captivate the world. Early 19th century Galway was plagued by poverty, hunger, and disease. Theft often led to brutal punishments, including execution or transportation to Australia. Stories like Thomas Leafy's reveal a harsh justice system, while ballads like The Fields of Athenry keep their memory alive. During London's Great Smog of 1952, Arthur, a one-legged veteran, led sky sailors across rooftops using zip lines and rope bridges to deliver medicine, food, and messages. Above the deadly fog, they became the city's lifeline, saving countless lives. In summer 1944, a U.S. soldier found a little girl in the ruins of Normandy. She clung to him, whispering, "Don't leave me." He carried her to safety and eventually adopted her. Her life began with a hug on a battlefield. A horse-drawn omnibus carried Parisians between Madeleine and the Bastille around 1890. These early buses were a lifeline for city travel, clattering through cobblestone streets, pulled by strong horses long before motorized transport arrived. In 1899, a quiet street in Biskra, Algeria, shows daily life in a desert town. Adobe buildings line the path, palm trees sway in the background, and villagers lead donkeys along the sandy street, bridging a small turquoise stream that winds through the town. In the 1970s Soviet Union, factories hummed with the production of color televisions, a symbol of technological ambition. Workers assembled components with precision, bringing a touch of color and modernity into households across the USSR. In the early 19th century, these children from Lapland arrived at Ellis Island, stepping into a world of hope and uncertainty. Dressed in their traditional attire, they embodied the courage and dreams of countless immigrants seeking a new life in America. In the early 20th century, ladder girls scaled rooftops and alleys, performing daring rescues and essential maintenance in cities like London and New York. Their courage and skill reveal the hidden strength of women shaping urban life. Alfonso XIII, King of Spain from 1886 to 1931, ruled during a turbulent era marked by social unrest, political upheaval, and the eventual fall of the monarchy with the rise of the Second Republic. On October 18, 1941, near Kalinin, the crew of a Russian T-31 tank was captured after their vehicle was struck by a German SG-3 assault gun, one of the Wehrmacht's most formidable armored weapons. Flashback to 1953, Cannes Film Festival, where Hollywood icon Kirk Douglas and French sensation Brigitte Bardot captured all eyes, radiating charm and glamour on the red carpet. On June 25, 1941, Maori men of C Company, 28th Battalion, performed the haka at a Helwan training camp in Egypt, honoring King George II of Greece and his royal entourage. On September 4, 1944, British forces liberated Antwerp. Locals locked German soldiers and collaborators in zoo cages, celebrating freedom while ensuring the vital port stayed intact for the Allies. General Jean-Baptiste Piron, commander of the legendary Piron Brigade, led his troops in liberating Brussels on September 4, 1944. He passed away exactly 30 years later, leaving behind a remarkable legacy of courage and leadership.
Thanks for watching. Got an idea for a forgotten era I should explore? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to make it.